Hi, this is Robin Cavallaro with the Cavallaro Heath Group of Remax One, and Darren Rickwood of FirstHome Mortgage and I are gonna do our weekly catch up today. So, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I got my ears lowered a little bit. We're good to go.
I know my hair shrunk, so unfortunately, it shrunk in the direction of hiding all the roots. So,
Something. It's I took all the kids in at the same time. We did all three kids, and then one of them did my hair, and I had a basically a little cat in my sink when I was done. There was hair everywhere. I'm still cleaning it up.
I had a friend hook me up. I'm like, I could not take it any longer,
No.
and I it's so demoralizing when you can't do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself. So hopefully this is going to be ending soon and opening back up
It
because
makes
I
you
think
feel
that
better too. It just your day, how you feel, or how you carry yourself, how you talk to other people, everything.
oh yeah, I mean I'm still hiding the nails that look horrible,
Off
but it's
screen,
like
off screen, right?
I can hide those easier than I could my hair. But anyway,
Hey,
so what do
I've
you
got
want to
some
talk about
questions
today?
for you this week.
Do what?
So multiple it's tough with this virtual thing. I was on one yesterday. Well, we had the problem too of lagging,
Yeah,
and it was like a bad movie where I can see your lips moving, but there's no sound, and then the sound starts, and it was nuts.
yeah, it's like the bad subtitle karate movies with
Yeah,
Bruce
right,
Lee. It's like
right.
it's like flashback to a kid. So,
So I've seen a couple things with my side, and I wanted to get your opinion and see how you handle it, and maybe what advice you can give, what you give to your buyers, but also people who may be looking to buy in the future. Um,
I'm going in the hot seat today.
you are, you are. We're gonna switch it around. It was what, 3 weeks for me. Now it's your turn.
Dang. All right. I'm up. I'm game.
Multiple offer situations. So we're seeing a
Ooh.
lot of those now. Um,
hmm
what's your take on them? How do you prepare a buyer?
So basically, what I tell every buyer is come in with your best foot. You got to be pre approved before we're going to look at the houses. And if you're not, you're wasting your time, the seller's time, and you're also putting everybody at risk safety wise today too. Sellers do not want anyone in their house that is not pre-approved for the asking price at the very least. So that's a must. And I tell them flat out, some of these houses will be gone by the weekend or within a couple of days. And if you aren't prepared to put in your strongest offer, we probably shouldn't be bothering to going out. Um, it's it's a little harsh to say, but like I've got one person text me right now, and there may be multiple people that are going in on the loan, but until everyone's pre-approved, we got to put the brakes on a little bit.
Well, the important part about that too is we're doing multiple scenarios. So we're doing a scenario and qualifying them based on what they're offering.
hmm
But then we're coming back immediately and going, okay, let's prepare for best and final.
Yep.
What can we do? And then it's, can we ask for less closing? Can we go higher in sales price? So we're actually looking at numbers twice, for that secondary offer, knowing there's four and five other people bidding on the house.
Well, and see, that's the other part too, is we're starting to see appraisals still come in conservative. So if you're going up much higher than the asking price,
You run
it's
a
a
risk.
crapshoot on all sides as to whether or not it's going to appraise. One thing I do that it kind of freaks my clients out and is if there's going to be multiple offers, I submit their highest pre-approval letter I can go to. So they may be looking at a property that's 400,000, but if they're pre-approved for up to 600, I'm going to submit that offer. I mean, that letter with the offer. And the reason why I do that is it shows the seller that my client can go out and buy a new car or a boat or get creative with their finances and they can still get to the settlement table. And if I've got multiple offers on one of my listings, I ask the other agents to give me the best pre-approval letter for their client. It doesn't mean we're going to go up any higher. I just want to see who's the strongest buyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It makes
it,
sense. It's not something, we as lenders are used to doing, but putting it that way, that makes perfect sense.
yeah, because if you give me a pre-approval letter, I'm going to use 400 just to sake of argument today. If the house is going under contract at 400, buyer A gives me a pre-approval letter for 400, buyer B gives me a pre-approval letter for 425. We're not going to go up to 425, but buyer B is stronger, even though some of the terms may not be exactly what my client's looking for. If buyer A with a 400, if they make one small mistake, deal's done. So why would I risk, advising my client to take this one, which it may close like 2 weeks earlier, or maybe they're not doing all the inspections or whatever, but there's a chance this one's not getting to the table.
Right. So, all right, let's flip that around. So you as a listing agent
Mm-hmm.
and you receive multiple offers,
Mm-hmm.
I think the same thing applies. You just explained that. You're looking at the letter, you're looking at the offer, the type of loan, right? That makes a
Yes.
difference.
Yeah. Cash is king. You
Right.
know, if someone's paying cash, sweet, put the money in escrow, let's get to settlement. But after that, it comes down to, I treat all the other loans equal: conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, because in my opinion, there really isn't much of a difference as long as the house is in good condition. If it's a little rough, and we know VA is going to flag some things, but if VA flags them, all the government loans are going to flag it. So that's when conventional may win out.
Right.
Any other time, doesn't matter.
So with that having being said, big thing we harp on is local lenders,
Yes.
uh, people versus a big bank, uh,
Hmm.
versus giant credit unions. How does that come into play, with past experience, things like that?
So the most frustrating thing is when it is a lender, whether they're a local big bank or whatever, that you can't reach. We went through a deal. It was actually my buyer, so I still feel like I should be sending a sympathy card and apologizing with flowers once a month to the listing agent for the rest of her life. For this one, the lender was non-responsive. So I'm calling her, finally get through to her, and she's like, I don't know, you got to talk to the processor. I'm like, well, okay, what's the processor's phone number? Oh, I can't give you that. But the lender had no clue what the processor was doing. We were getting no updates. We didn't know if we were going to settlement or not. No
Right.
one could tell me if a CD was signed. The listing agent is asking what's going on. I'm like, no. And then that's embarrassing because it makes me look less professional. Makes
Right.
me look like an idiot.
And all of us, you on the real estate side with your buyers, you can't tell somebody, hey, look, you can't go with these people. They're terrible. I've had a lot of bad experiences.
No.
And
Oh
me
God,
as a
no.
lender, even if I get a call to do a second opinion, I'm not going to throw somebody under the bus and tell them, how bad they are. Be careful or be aware.
Yep.
Sometimes people you just can't sway them, but at the end of the day, they've got to make up a decision. Was it worth it? And that's where the "I told you so" phrase comes in very, very helpful.
Yes, it does. And so that's where it's like, it's almost, it is so frustrating because of the laws that we have against us, and where you can't steer someone, you can't blackball, you can't do anything that would negatively impact another professional's business. And it's like, how can I be the best agent for my clients if they're using company ABC over here that I've had so many bad experiences with? And yeah, it's like I'll tell them the stories and I always follow it up with, it is your choice as to whom you use. But God, I wish they would allow us to say, look, you know what? Here's the deal. If you work with them, chances are you're not going to get the deal because the sellers know the stories too, and they're not going to want to take that offer.
Yeah, I mean, all the agents that have been doing this a while know the ins and outs of lending, who they can get a hold of and call, because most listing agents now are picking up the phone and calling the lenders and
Oh,
verifying, have you talked to them? Do you have all their information? Have you run it through preliminary underwriting? Where are you with the file? And I actually enjoy it. I like getting those phone calls because then I can express to the listing agent how
mhm.
good of a borrower they are, and
Oh,
how good of a
absolutely.
deal it is.
If it's a lender I know and work with, no, I don't call. Because I know, for example, you're not going to issue a pre-approval letter unless you have everything in place to issue it. It's not going to happen. Yeah, if it's a lender I've never worked with before, yeah, I'm picking up the phone. I'm calling them. I'm making sure that they have checked the tax returns, the bank statements, everything, and that the credit score, while they cannot tell me what the credit score is not in a range that this is iffy as to whether or not I can go to settlement.
Right.
Um,
All are important things.
oh, absolutely. But again, that's where it comes down to y'all's reputation and past history. Because I love it when I get a pre-approval letter from someone I know, like,
Yeah.
sweet, this is good. Buyer's golden.
Right.
Um,
And
and on
look
the
for
buying
multiple offer
side,
situations, especially because everybody's going to be similar. When you have that level of offers or that amount of offers on a house, a lot of times there's not that much separating them.
no,
You know, it's not like you're $10,000-$15,000 apart. You're going to
no,
have a lot of them. They're very similar.
no. I think it was like year and a half, 2 years ago. I had one property, we got 10 offers within 2 days.
Jeez.
And because of where it was priced, it was a super cute house. You couldn't move it. It was only priced like 150, 155, something like that. We had 10 offers, and what I do is I do a spreadsheet. So my client can't see names, can't see agents' names, things like that. I mean, granted, everything's shared with them, and they can go through and look at it if they want to. But I do a spreadsheet, type a loan, and all the details going across so they can compare apples with apples,
Yep.
and also
Good
with
idea.
a nut sheet to show them what each offer will net them. And the first offer she went with was an FHA one because she liked the fact it was going to be someone living in it. And they did find a couple of inspection items. So when we went back, she ended up going with a cash offer, even though it would net her less, but it was being sold as is at that point. And um, we shared everything we knew with the buyer, but it really wasn't anything major. Um, it
Yeah.
was just, first time buyer, a little skittish and got nervous.
So touching on something you just said, this is kind of a tangent off to the side a little bit, but so you as a listing agent, okay, you get an offer submitted, you accept it. It is a conventional financing.
Yes.
Everything's good. Then the lender or buyer switches companies and goes with another lender, different loan, everything else after you've already accepted. The reason I'm asking this is because I've actually gotten to the point where I don't like to provide a letter to someone if I know they're shopping lenders.
Oh,
Because why am I going to do all the work for somebody, get you the
mhm.
house, and then you're going to go and shop everything? Do your due diligence ahead of time. I'm fine with that. Have no problem competing or talking to you about the situation. If it's a great deal and I can't match it, I'm going to tell you. But the idea that I do all the work, I've done all the numbers, I've put it together, I've gone over prices and figure out how you can get in a house, and then after you get the contract, you start shopping.
Yeah, and there's actually a clause in the contract talking about alternate financing. So if the buyer changes the type of loan, they must have the seller's written permission to do so. And it's easy to get the seller to agree if you're going like VA and now you're going to do conventional.
Right.
But if you're doing conventional and now all of a sudden you got to do VA, USDA, or FHA, you
Completely
I
different
don't know if the
appraisal,
seller's
everything.
going to
Right.
necessarily agree to it. You know, and there's been a couple of times where I've gotten a notice that appraiser's coming out, and he's like, "Yeah, I just need to do this for VA guidelines." I'm like, "What? We got a conventional deal here."
Right. You don't have a clue. Right.
No, and I'll give the buyer's agent credit because when I called her, she's like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." It turned out the lender had talked with the buyer, changed the type of financing, and didn't tell anyone.
What about two appraisers contacting you at the same time? You ever had that?
No, but that would be fun.
I've heard of that where buyer will make application, they'll order, and I've had it happen. They order appraisal,
Uh-huh.
and then same day or next day, another bank orders an appraisal. And the
Oh.
buyer hasn't told anybody, including his agent or the first lender, that they've switched. So there's two appraisers and two banks processing the contract at the same time.
Oh my God.
How about that one? I've only had it once, but
I mean, that's like showing up at the altar with two dates. That's a
exactly.
problem.
Got one waiting in the back room. Let's get this over with. Come on.
He's like, which one do I go through with? Wow.
Yeah.
That would be comical.
Yep. It
Yeah.
was interesting because I'm the one, I get a phone call. Well, what's going on here? You were doing, I'm like, I have no idea. We ordered the appraisal. I can't tell you who the other person is. And you start tracking it down, and
Mhm.
buyer never called, never did anything. Oh yeah, no, I found a better deal. They're going to do it. I already made application with them. I'm like,
Yeah.
tell somebody.
And and I'll throw this out there is like, whether I'm on listing or buying side, the lenders that send me an update to tell me where things are in the process, I adore. Because otherwise we got to call them once a week and go, "Hey, what's going on? Give
Yep.
me an update." And we don't always have the time to do that. So, but everybody's always asking if you're the listing agent, your clients want to know.
Sure.
Um,
And that's
and
what I love about some of the systems we have and everything being automated nowadays is that every time it moves a milestone, agents, borrower, everybody, they'll get emails, they'll get texts throughout the process. So they
yeah,
know
I love
exactly where
that.
we are. They know we've ordered the appraisal. They know it's been submitted to processing. They know it's conditionally approved.
Mhm.
They know the appraisal's back in. I mean, everything. To the point, sometimes it's a bad thing because they get those texts,
Yeah.
especially an appraisal. As soon as an appraisal comes into our system, they'll get an email saying, "Hey, appraisal's back," and they're on the phone. "Hey, where are we at? Appraisal value good? No." We have to actually review it, go through a process, making sure it's right, before we actually have access to it. So it's quick.
Yeah, no, I love that. And, because, you know, my goal is with my assistant to have them call every lender for every deal we've got going, whether it's the buyer side or the seller side on Monday, if we haven't gotten an update, if we're not getting the updates. And you would think after 1 or 2 weeks of us calling, going, "Hey, give us an update," they would be like, "You know what? Eh, No, I'll update you as soon as I know something,"
Sure.
and would start doing the updates. Um, and there's only a handful of y'all that do give us updates, and it is so appreciated. Um, and like I had a settlement yesterday, and I was the listing agent on it. Oh my God, my clients were amazing. And it was the first time they've sold a house because they've been in this one for 22 years.
Oh my gosh.
And the house they bought to move into, they paid cash for. So they're not used to this whole process. And when they bought before, I mean, keep in mind, go back 22 years, things were so different. You could pretty much have commitment within a week, it seemed like. So for it to take all of 30 days to get approval and updates, they were nervous. It's like, is this still going to go through? I'm like, so far everything looks good. So far everything looks good. But to someone that hasn't bought or sold in over 20 years, they're not used to the length of time it takes now to get to the settlement table.
And the process and everything that could
Yeah.
go wrong and the verifications. And now with COVID-19, it's even more.
Yep. And one buyer was asking me the other day, he goes, all right, so the last time I bought a house was like 10 years ago, 12, 15 years ago, something like that. He goes, what do I have to do? I said, well, basically every time the lender asks you for a document, you just hand it to them. And it doesn't matter if you've done it 6 times, you do it the 7th time because they haven't lost it. They just need a new timestamp for it.
And bank statements are some of the worst thing. And I'm doing this with a couple clients now where, yeah, I know I got your bank statement, but it's not a full bank statement, or it's a screenshot, or it doesn't have the URL at the bottom of the page, or it's just not, I know, I see it, I know you have it, but it's not going to be acceptable by the banks.
And it doesn't show your EMD cleared.
Right. Or it doesn't have your name on it.
Yeah, it's like, if that's the case, then can I borrow his bank account because this is bigger than mine?
And that's the thing. I'm like, I can't match up what you gave me before to this. They don't match. I need to be able to connect the dots. It's not Jenga. This is. So, well, that is great info. I think, especially moving forward, we're going to see when all this clears up, hopefully in next 30 days or so, and people are back out and people start to put their houses on the market. There's more inventory. You're going to see a lot more multiple offers. So this is, something that I really wanted to go into.
We are. And one of the things, and I know some people do it, I'm skittish about it, is having my clients write a letter. And for the love of God, I do not want my sellers seeing a letter. And where I know it's done with good intention, but because of fair housing, if you've got the details on this group over here and you've got the details on this group over here, I don't care who you are, I can put you, almost anyone, into a fair housing category. And if you don't get the house, was it because of discrimination? Or was it because their heartstrings went to this person more so?
Right.
And it's a very, very, very delicate tightrope to walk, as a listing agent and as a seller. You know, because what happens if you've got a family over here and you've got a single person over here, but the single person tells you a story that makes you go, oh my God, I want that person to have my house.
Right.
And the offer's lower. Did you discriminate against these people over here because it's a family and you just want a single person live in your house? Or was it something else in the letter? And I would say anyone who's going to be doing that, you better make sure you have a very, very, very clear explanation over why you took one person over the other.
Right. Right.
Because I don't want to share a jail cell with anyone over fair housing violations. I don't want to write that big fine. And yeah, so
I don't really want to do these videos with you with an orange jumpsuit, and everything else with a little phone that's.
I know, I'm like hanging up against the glass and it's all fuzzy because of all the handprints on it.
Phenomenal.
It's like, I'm trying, you got the bars in the background.
Right.
The worst thing I have right now is my cats fighting, have 2 people going at it because
I've had a couple run through here and tackle each other a while ago. I'm not sure if you heard it or not, but
I was doing a call the other day and my cats got into a fight. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know how to edit those things.
I know. Well, good weather's coming. Looks like Mother's Day Sunday is going to be actually nice.
Yeah.
A little colder, but nice. So we got warm weather coming next week. So hopefully all this breaks loose and we can get back to normal.
Do you have anything big planned for Anne?
I not yet. I told the boys the other day, I said, look, if nothing else, it never fails.
Yeah.
Easter, Mother's Day, Christmas,
Mhm.
my kids act worse. It's harder to do anything. And I told them, I said, if we're not doing anything for Mother's Day other than taking a picture, you're going to dress up, we're going to take a picture, and you're going to be presentable. Give me 5 minutes of your time, and then you can do it. I don't care.
Yeah, it's going to be weird this year. This is the first one my daughter hasn't been home. So, um, yeah, it's going to be a little challenging. I'm pretty sure my eyes will be leaking a little bit.
Little
And
poolside, little poolside for mom and relaxation, hopefully.
yeah, it's well, if the weather warms up. I mean, I've got the heat onto it, but it's not even, it's barely hitting 70 degrees right now because it cools off so much at night.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to run my electric bill up to leave it running 24/7.
Right.
So,
We'll
yeah,
get
but
there.
right now I'll do something, probably get takeout. Although he's become quite the little cook lately.
I saw the pork chops and all. They look good.
Oh my God, they were good. And he made salmon the other night that he gave me a grocery list. It's check this out. He's like, here's my list. The ingredients that he wants to use to make a pork roast tonight. And I'm like,
Wow.
all right.
So I got one that wants to do nothing but bake desserts,
Okay.
brownies, cake, cookies. I got the other two that all they want to do is cook. So the kitchen is packed at night, between people helping and people fighting over who's going to cook. Because the rule is if you cook, you don't have to clean dishes. So
Oh,
everybody's fighting to cook because they don't want to clean dishes.
yeah. He actually has been helping with the dishes too. So I'm super proud of him. And I joke, but I'm not joking. There's going to be some girl out there that's going to get an amazing husband one day.
Yeah.
And she's not going to have to worry about him going, my mom's a better cook. So,
If nothing else, my kids are learning to do things that they've really never done. Like we've never had time to cook with sports and everything else. We don't eat
yeah.
home.
Well, I haven't slowed down. I'm so grateful and blessed for that. And because his life is so much slower right now, and he's sick and tired of the sad, pathetic things that I call food and dinner,
Yeah.
that he's been taking upon himself to learn how to cook.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sweet. Um, but yeah, I think I'm hoping we can get through this weekend, one more nasty day with Mother Nature, and then summer.
Maybe.
Uh, Nail salons really need to open up before we break out the sandals. So,
I mean, I just want to get to nice spring days, 75, 80.
yeah,
Like last weekend. That was beautiful. I'll take those.
yeah, yeah. I got to show waterfront tomorrow, and they're talking about wind chill. So,
Oh my God. I know. Snow. I don't want to hear that word anymore. I
no,
love snow and I don't want to hear it now.
it's like the pandemic, the murder hornets, the wind chill. Oh, let's not forget the fires in the beginning of the year. We've all forgotten about those.
I saw a post yesterday on Facebook. I don't even know who it was. They were talking about the murder hornets, the pandemic, and they had a picture of a sunrise or sunset,
Uh-huh.
and it looked like an animal in the sun. They're like, holy crap, is that Godzilla? Just one more thing. Just everything you see now is a problem. Like, come on. Let's
Yeah,
get
and all you can do
together
is
and
laugh
quit.
at this point. I mean, I hope the restaurants will be open soon. I'm sick and tired wearing the mask. Um,
That's the most annoying part.
yeah, well, especially if you have asthma. Um,
Yep.
and God forbid you cough. Everybody's like, ooh.
Oh, they run. You want to clear a room? Just cough.
And it was, um, but yeah, it's going to be a fun, busy weekend because yesterday we put two houses on the market. We had a settlement yesterday, one today, buyer under contract, listing under contract. I'm just like, yay.
Yeah,
Um,
it is fun.
it is. So,
Fun. Well, take time for yourself on Sunday, and it was great talking with you again.
you too. We'll catch up next week.
All right. Yep. Absolutely.